Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. You're welcome to day 2 of my 15 days of Python. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is to do variables and data types. In the day 1, I did like an introduction to it, but today I'll be going a bit deeper to explain all of these concepts, how you can manipulate around data types and what you could do with variables. First, we'll be understanding more about variables and naming conventions. Secondly, we'll be learning about basic data types, the strings, integers, float, booleans. We'll just be going deeper than what we did in the previous video. I'll be performing type conversions. We'll be converting across data types, how you go from string to integer, how do you go from integer to string, and all of data types, and just do some manipulations around the data types. We'll be using input and output functions to interact with the user. I'll be applying basic arithmetic operations in Python. First, variables and naming conventions. Variables, like I explained, are containers for storing data values. We have name, age, products, cars, whatever. They are just containers. They help to store these data values. As a best practice, I'm just going to give you a key best practice when it comes to using naming conventions. Use meaningful names, e.g. age. When you want to say age, don't write numbers as your variables. Put it as age. When you want to write total price, don't call it price. Else people could mistake it for total price, for just price and not the total price. Use meaningful names when you want to write your variables. And as you can see, you have total price. Start with a letter or underscore. You could use any of them. You could use underscore when the names are too long. You could also use, remove the underscore and avoid spaces when you're using variables. Variables can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, just like I said. It is also case sensitive. For instance, when you say age and age, they are different. The age that starts with a capital letter A and the age that starts with a small letter a, they are quite different when it comes to variables. If you define this, you can't use this. The next one is type conversion. How do you convert? You can actually convert if you have integer. For instance, if you look at the code I have down here, you have age 25. You can convert the age to a string if you want to maybe concatenate with another string. You could convert that and it becomes age string, and you could just say string age. You can also have your price, and in as much as these are numbers, but because of the quotation, it becomes a string. So you could have the string, but you could convert it to the right data type or float and just say float price. And you have an integer again, you have count equal to 10, and you can convert the integer into a float. And you have a float or temperature, 36.6. You can convert this temperature to an integer. So you can convert, you can play around some of these types that you have when you're working with Python. I'm going to be doing a practical example. We're going to be having about 2 practical examples. But the first is we're going to be doing string concatenation. How do we concatenate? Combining strings together. I'm going to be going over to my environment and we'll continue from where we stopped on day 1. I have my day 1. I will come back to this place and just say new. I'm going to create a new directory. I'll call it day 2. In my day 2, I'm going to have this as example 1. Maybe I should just call this example 1. Good. In the example, what are we doing? Just to show how we can do the concatenation. I'm going to have first name. Let's say the first name is John. You could use a single quotation. You could use double, whichever one you feel like using. John. Last name, of course, is going to be Doe. John Doe. Full name. What is the full name going to be? We're going to do the concatenation. The full name is going to be the first name. First name plus what? I'm going to leave a space. And to create that space, I'm going to be using the quotation. And I create the space here. And I'll concatenate the last name. Last name. I'm going to print it out. I could just do simply print full name. When I do this, I'm going to have the full name to be John Doe. In my concatenation, I'm bringing these two together, the first name and last name. But of course, because I'm printing, I could add some things to it because we can. And we're going to say full name. So we're going to put a string to it to put a better description to the output that we're getting. And we'll say full name is going to be John Doe. And here we are. You could write whatever you want to write in that part, and it combines with the output you're going to get from there. And again, you can do whatever you want here because, of course, you can do it. All right. We're done with the first example. What is the second example? In the second example, we're going to be doing some arithmetic operations. Let's go over to our environment for this. Here, I'm going to create this and call it example 2. Just create this quickly. Arithmetic progression. Of course, x and y are going to appear. Let me say my x is equal to 10 and my y is equal to 5. Again, remember, what we are doing now is not anything complex. We're just looking at the basic. What are the basic operations that we can do here? And I'm going to be doing a simple addition. We're going to do subtraction. Just those basic stuff to actually get started with this and see how far we can go with it. For the sum is simple. X plus y. We are not using any module. We are not using any function yet. We're just doing simple operations within Python. And x plus y. What is our difference? The difference is going to be x minus y. What is the product? X times y. What is the quotient, like the division? The quotient, x divided by y. Now we're going to print everything. We're going to say print sum, and we'll repeat the same thing for every other one. So I'm done. I could easily just run all of this and see what the product is going to be. And here we go. I have my answers. And if you see the output I have for the sum is correct. 10 plus 5 is 15. The difference is 5. The product is 50. And the quotient is 2. The next example, example 3, is going to be us combining inputs and type conversion. Let's see how we can get that done. I come to this place and I put example 3. Good. What are we going to do in example 3? It's something similar to what we've done before, but a little tweak to it. So for here, we just want to do some kind of conversion around types. And I can say birth year, your birth year, and I take an input. If you remember what we did previously, you just put your instruction here to tell the user to enter your birth year. All right? Okay. Don't forget, because I want to do an operation with this birth year, I'm going to convert this. I'm going to convert this to an integer. The current year we are in is 2024. What is going to be your age? Your age, obviously, is going to be the current year we're in. Current year minus the birth year. That's the year you provided. And what do we print? Of course we can. We can add some string comment, some string to what we're doing. So what are we going to say? We can say you are your age, years old, and a full stop. Let's see how we perform. My birth year. I'm going to use 1950. Let's say I was born in 1950. Let's say I was born in 1950 and I enter. You're 74 years old. Wow. All right. What if I was born in 2000? You're 24 years old. So this is a simple operation. The last bit we are going to do is to do our exercise. And for each day, I try to provide an exercise and also provide a solution, so you can try that on your own. One of my recommendations is you don't use my solution yet. Try to do the exercise on your own and before looking into my solution. So at this point, you could pause, read through this, see how you could approach it. And afterwards, I'm going to give a little time. You could now open up mine and see what I did and maybe use it for correction rather than the actual solution to it. In the exercise, we're going to be writing a Python script that takes the user's height in meters and weight in kilograms as inputs. It's going to do a calculation to get their BMI, their body mass index, and print out the result. Of course, from here, you know a lot of variables we're going to have. It takes users' height, is going to be an input. In meters, it takes in weight. We're going to have a parameter for height and weight. And we're going to do calculation to get their BMI, and we're going to do a print statement, just something similar to what we've been doing all this while. But this is just giving you like a problem statement, and we're going to have a solution to that. So try this on your own, and I'll go to my environment and I call this exercise 1. It takes in height. The height is going to be a float because most height are not in integers. You could have decimals for your height, so you need to take that into consideration. It's going to take an input of the height, and I'm going to say enter your height in meters. Okay. Afterwards, I'm going to take in weight. Similarly, weight are in floats, and I'll take an input. Okay. And I would say enter your weight in kilograms. So I came online to say the formula for BMI just to be sure that we're doing the right thing. So is kilogram over meter square. So the height, you multiply the height twice, and it's going to be the kilogram over the height raised to power 2. So back to this place, what is going to be BMI? Our BMI is going to be equal to our weight. It's going to be weight over the height squared. So what is the height? We're going to open up a bracket to do height times height. Height times height is going to give us the BMI. And I'm going to print your BMI is, and it print what the BMI is. I'm going to run this. What is your height? Maybe you were 1.84 or 85. What do you weigh? And you weigh 90 kilogram. Your BMI is 26.29 or 26.30 approximately. And you could do all of that. There are a couple of things we could do to this code, but for now, we're just going to leave it this way. And if you got it right, kudos. I'll see you in my next video where we're going to go to day 3. Thank you. Bye.